Okay, welcome back. For the fifth session of this, of a stupid guy trying to work out how to port this this excellent GUI to PlayBASIC. I think most of the problems I'm having is understanding, or my understanding of how Blitz lists work is different from how I thought they worked, and how I thought this library implements list controls. I just thought you would create a type and have them linked to each other, and you just iterate through that whatever your list was going to be. But it seems to be there's a global pool in Blitz, which explains some of this weird logic. You've got to step through these lists and work out what the parent handle is of things all the time. And I'm like, why would that be necessary? Why would you need to do that? So we're going to have to come up with some strategy for dealing with this. And I wrote a library the other day that deals with linked list controls, the way I thought Blitz worked. I'm thinking now that I probably can just force it to work like that and just change the bits of behavior that we're looping through the global list. What seems to happen is when you declare a type and make a list from it, if I have two different variables, we end up with, if I have variable A of list, window type, for example, and variable B of list window type, and if I add 10 things to the list A and then 10 things to list B, different things, if I look at the contents of either one, all 20 items are in that list. So that was a shock to me. I wasn't expecting that to work like that. It makes sense to have a global pool. That's actually not a bad idea, to be honest, because it means you can always check if you're orphaning some handles here or there. You can find windows or objects within your list that you're not actually keeping track of, which is a good thing. For me, it's just a shock on how this thing works. So I'm looking at this WinEvent function, which is a lot of nested logic. What we've got at the moment is we've got our test loop, and we've created a secondary window, and we've got some mouse over kind of concept, and it's working out whether you're over the title bar and this kind of stuff. But there's no response, which is fine. That's why we need this event processing stuff to work, or at least have some sort of response to it, so we can get some interaction with the display. We'll press on. We'll try and port this logic the best we can. This is a larger if block. This is a pointer to Windows, and the other one there's a pointer as well. So I'll make that integer. I think this is. So another thing there too is that this is the window we're passing in to this event. Sorry, this is the active window. In other words, the one that's been clicked or was created last, which is what window is here. But this GUI, I think it stands for default window, and it does create a window that's hidden that you can't actually see. It doesn't render it, but it seems to refer back to this for a number of things. I'm not quite sure why it does that. In fact, I have no idea why it does that, to be honest. But we shall press on. The next line should be okay. Just reading the mouse coordinates. So you would think that that's all you would do this frame, right? Got the WinX coordinates, the WinY, its width and height, we have those. So we've got the mouse coordinates and the positions of these things here. Where does that end? So that select case is pretty huge. There's an if there, is it? That's the L structure. if WinEvent menu or WinEvent queue menu, which I have no idea what that is, I think it's like a right-click menu that it supports, which is great if it does, but at the moment I'm a bit lost with everything. Let's put a comparison in first. Then running down to here, select. This concludes with an else and an end if here. So we're going to at least phrase correctly. And select, thank you. That looks okay. It should phrase okay. And does. I'm pretty paranoid about those things, but you want to trap small differences while you're going through it rather than sort of finding big things later on. We've got a case there for menu and a case there for this other menu, so I might drop them both in and comment them one or both of them out if we need to. Might be calling functions we don't have at the moment. Win down, all looks like just basic logic, doesn't it? Got a pause loop there at the end. I think that's what yeah, it is. I don't get why this is done like that. So we've just read the mouse coordinates up here. We have them. They're perfectly fresh. Let's put them, read the variable again, because the mouse can be moving all the time. MX, and it can, well, you might not think so, but you can actually end up with, if you keep reading the mouse each frame, you can end up with logic issues where in one part of the code the mouse is hovering over something, and then the next part of the code is hovering over something else, and then you end up with something you didn't want. Right, so menus, we've got a bunch of code here to look at the menu itself. I expected that. Just put some markers around those to give some sort of indication of where we are within this block. I just find those easier when you're paging through stuff, so you can just go, oh, that's a block of stuff, that's a block of stuff, there's another block of stuff there. We'll wrap this little bit of code here and we'll just replace all of that. Go to Blitz wrapper, mouse down, psub, wait on mouse button. Bit of logic. Sorry, it's end while in PV, by the way. And psub. Psub is like a glorified go sub in PlayBASIC. So now I can just do this. Well, sorry. Right. Just do a replace, catch them if we can. Wait on mouse button. 1, thank you. Replace all. Yeah, do them all. So we don't need that block of code sitting there all the time. Now it shouldn't compile because there are, as you can see here, you've got functions we don't have implementations of at the moment. So for this quick menu, I think what we'll do is we'll we'll comment the quick menu stuff out because you've got functions here to do with quick menus and free menu stuff, and I'll just focus on the menu aspect of it first. Sort of try to get to work once we have an understanding of if it's working and why it's working. Win menu bar equals none. Menu bar gadget pointer. Because the menu bar is a gadget, and we have to work out if it exists. In other words, do menu bar, no menu bar. Check if we've got a menu bar gadget. If we do, we've got two functions there we're going to have to call. We've got free menus down here. The event is set to that. Mouse is over. Sorry, menu over is -1. Menu hit is -1. Why do these different variables for things? I don't really know. As you can tell, I'm just guessing my way through this thing. I don't have a clear understanding of how the code works. I'm just kind of assuming it works in a certain way, which I'm sure you would have guessed by now. Alright, so let's go chase the actual code up for this one. I don't think I've got the other one loaded. I better load it in, thank you. And do a search, try and find it. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Draw menu bar has a bunch of work in it. This has a bunch of work in it. So that's our next little port of call, I think. Put the menu function down the bottom here, GUI end. It's easy to think that we've got a few thousand lines of this thing working, but it's not really the case, though, is it? Menu status. Oh, geez, what have we got there? I think it's just an array of these things. That's why there's a max number of menus. They're not a linked list. Alright, so window, let's get into this thing. Pointer, set back buffer. These are our state flags. We aren't checking to see if the window exists, so it must be pretty much impossible for this not to be the case. In other words, we're always passing it in. We're only ever calling this function from a situation where we know that the window exists. I'll just expand that so it reads a bit easier for me. I might just do a replacement of all those slashes and just be brave for a second. Replace, you know, win dot, let's just go replace all and hang on to our hats. No, come on, it's more than that, wasn't there? Win, replace all. You're kidding me, that's all there was. Oh man. There isn't either. So we're clearing the mouse all the time through this stuff here, and it's just a terrible idea. Why do people do that? Because the mouse is moving independent of your application. So when you poll it multiple times, it's possible for you to be in one zone in one loop and then another zone in another loop. So you can get false positives. And for GUI programming, that creates all kinds of weirdness. Such a pain. So I'll actually just go mouse x equals mouse x equals mouse x. Just don't want to be calling it all the time. It adds weight to your function for no real reason. A bunch of code for for no benefit whatsoever. It's going to be a challenge. So menu status is some sort of global array, which I thought was a linked list, but apparently it's not. We have a fixed number of these things. You can't do a redimension in Blitz. That's one thing I do remember. So if you have an array and you need to change the size of the array, you pretty much have to copy the contents of the array somewhere else, dimension the array again, and then copy the contents back. Now that's actually perfectly workable in a lot of situations, but it's tedious. You know, it's easy to make mistakes when copying stuff from one thing to another, etc. So people tend not to. And in old programs I wrote too in BlitzBASIC, I always would just oversize my arrays and never worry about it, unless I thought it was a good chance of them actually overflowing. All right. Let's live vicariously by the sword. Live by the sword and do a replacement. Search, replace, thank you. Importing code is often, you're actually just doing replacements. More often than not. Mouse X, replace all, thank you. All from this point down. Good. I mean, people probably think I'm being overly pedantic about that, but it does matter. Like it really can change the behavior of your application. If you keep reading the mouse all the time, we don't need to. Replacement again. Replacement. We must replace it with a Y this time. Mouse Y, thanks. Replace all. Do them all. You can get caught out sometimes if that keyword happens to be part of another word. It can cause problems for yourself. Alright, let's assume we've got to this point here. That bit of code there should actually make sense to the PB. But the menus thing here won't. We don't have any concept of what this means. There's no declaration of this. Oh, sorry, there is. Yeah, there is. So this is a standard PB declaration to global menu array. We probably should have this, you know, tagged as something else actually. It does mean there's a limit to the number of menus you can have. So that limits the number of windows you can have. I'll probably change that actually. I'll probably just change it to an iteration loop. And just, if you add new windows, you just add a new menu as well. Again, might be making a ride from my own back. Might create more problems than I'm solving, but you know, we'll give it a go. Just how we feel about it today. We'll just give it a go and see what weirdness we get. So our replacement here should work pretty well. So we'll replace with this tag, and that should fix a lot of those little broken bits there. I say should. I won't guarantee that it does. Replace that, and we will replace it with this dot. Thank you. Replace all. Yeah, let's do it all. Alright, we've got through a fair bit of that actually. Menu list 0 status. Wow, why are we looking at the status of 0? What the hell is that? I have no idea what that's meant to be doing. Menu status and then end there. What I might do at the moment is just comment that out because I'm not quite sure what that's meant to be solving, or doing I should say. We'll focus ourselves on the top bit of code. Try and get a better understanding of what this thing's doing. So we're checking if our menu status is 0. In other words, if this menu is in use, I assume that's meant to mean, and the menu is currently equal to the window we're looking at, and this type field is equal to 0, whatever that is. Menu X, which is, what the hell is that? It's an offset from the current Windows position. So this is where the window is going to be on screen space. In screen space. I'll just expand those. I tend to like to look at them. Oh, wow. Right, so menu width. Sorry, is that the global position? That is the global position of where the menu is. Screen width, menu title, RX, those, compute that out. Rex overlap. Why would that be calling free menus? Why is menu list 0 something? What the hell is that? My gut feeling is that they're using index 0 within that array as like the parent. Yeah. So it's like a default or a screen menu. So if you don't have, you don't create a window yourself, you can still have a menu attached to the screen. That's my best assumption. I actually have no idea. As you can tell, I have no idea why it's doing that. Let's not worry about it. Just replace it and feel good about ourselves. You probably work that out all by yourself. GUI menu list. Jeez, where? I don't even know where that is. It's a different function, isn't it? Replace all, thanks. All, just do it, thanks. It wasn't menu. Sorry, it wasn't many, so that's good. GUI color. I know the color function is basically setting this to 0, so it's multiplying 0 by some scalar and setting the ink color. So there's redundancy sitting there all the time. It's not the end of the world, but you know. Right, menu status. What I might do is I might actually put some PB safetyisms through this stuff here. So in PB, if we're stepping through an array, and we ask the array, typed array in particular, we go, hey, is there something at this location? Is there a type allocated at this index? Which is what this here is doing. We're going, is there a handle at this location? If there is, we fall through and do some other stuff. We do this other logic. But if there's not, which there may not be at some point, it's nice to have a bit of, just a bit of secondary precautionary code in there to stop ourselves from doing something stupid, which happens all the time. Right, we've got a function there called free menus. I don't remember seeing that in our code, and it's not in there. Let's pull it out, so have a look. Let's go back to the original source and find it. Search, find. Delete menu list. Jesus, what is that doing? Sorry, I honestly have no idea what that's meant to be doing. Let's find the declaration of this thing here. Okay. So when we open a menu, we're scanning down through our pre-existing array of these menu structures, looking for something that has a status of zero. Sorry, that's not 0. Anyway, what is that meant to do? What is this thing? We're deleting this list, but I don't know what that's meant to be. Why we need it? I have no idea. Right, so we have 10 of these menu submenus. What's GUI menu all about? What is that type? GUI cycle, program. Interesting, isn't it? GUI menu type. GUI menu. So we've got confusion everywhere there. Why do we have this? It may be needed to overcome the... I actually don't know. I don't understand why that's there at all. So menu type here, it looks like it's the actual the parent of the list of the menu. So, but why is what is that? So we've got menu is just an integer, nothing special about it. It refers to something else. Just search for that. See where it's actually being used. If it's actually important to us or not. Okay, menu list, which is our menu function, which is what we've been looking at. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like the menus are stored in one place, and then we look through them, we compare it against the current thing we're looking at, the current window, for the ownership of those things, and then do the logic and so on. So it actually works it doesn't work the way I thought it worked at all, actually. No. Thought that would be a list attached to the parent window. You'd have a menu list. You'd have these other sort of parental structures, and then if you had a menu, you just go, okay, we've got a menu attached to this thing, and you step down through and solve them out. I'm stumped what this other menu list thing here is for. What is that doing? There must be some global menu, which is what I was thinking before, but it's doing a lot of drawing. A bunch of mouse events are attached into it, into here. String, type. Yeah, I'm terrified, but I don't have a clue what that's meant to be. The way that's structured. I get it. I understand what the code's doing, but I don't understand why it's structured that way in the first place. Obviously, it's to overcome some sort of structural issue they've had with their implementation against the language. That happens at everything you write. You're going to have to be fighting against the language you're writing it in. Welcome to programming. That's how the world goes, man. It can be very frustrating. And having to port things from other languages where you don't know the limitations of those languages, because I'm not that familiar with Blitz really, beyond it being basic. So the core basic stuff here, I know that, but that's the same knowledge I use between every basic I step into, so nothing special about it. Get back on subject here, so get back to our port. We're calling free menu, so when we overlap this thing, unless it's creating a menu dynamically when you hover over something, that might be why it's needed. Yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense, because when I've done nested menu systems in the past, you sort of have a list, and you have you've got the items in the list, and then you have like nodes within that list. They're like reset controls, really. When something's a parent to something else, it's just one long list of these items, and you just scroll, run through it, run from the start, and run through each one going, okay, this is the first drop-down menu from the top, let's say. The name of that, and if it's not visible, we just skip over the children and render the next parent beside it, the next parent as you go through, you know. So if something's been clicked to reveal the parent, then we render the children, and the same process begins. We just do a vertical column of those children, and if that's been opened, same thing. We reveal the children of it. I mean, it's always pretty messy stuff, but everyone does tackle these things in different ways. Let's just chuck the function in and try and keep that the same basic structure. Becoming less and less confident as the day goes on. Yeah, I mean, I should just convert directly, actually. There should be nothing to that, but here we go. Delete menu is different. Here it's going to equal 0. Just setting it to null, and this t, which is the index here, dot status equals 1. Really, that's kind of redundant, isn't it? We're writing over the top of this thing here. We don't need that. I might keep a copy of that function just sitting there next to it, so for reference, in case I find out at some later point that my logic there is wrong, which is pretty likely. Let's face it. I'll just grab the original blob of code there and stick it in there. That's the technical term for it. Yeah. Grab the blob of code, whack it in there, who cares? Sing and dance about it. I mean, you can cry about the stuff all you want, but who cares? So that function exists within our port. We've got some logic being our emulation of what I think that does. Right, do menu bars, next one. Cool. Menu group, open menu, draw menu. There's a whole plethora of stuff in there that we've got to tackle. There's new menu bar. It's a big blob of code, as you expect. Thanks for that. Loving that, thanks. We haven't poured all that code there yet, so none of that crap there will work. GUI menu, this one. Just wow, there's so much of this I don't get. That's pretty cool because it's the same logic as before, so we can kind of do a replace on that and feel good about ourselves. It doesn't mean it'll work, but you know, we'll feel good about it anyway. Place all, thank you. Let's be brave, let's just do it. Cool. Got a fair way into the function, so do menu bar, got a free menus function there, we've got a string stuff there. We might get further into this, I think. Other functions, draw menu. We need the draw menu function because there's nothing to render this thing at some point. But why is it drawing it? Yeah. I keep really thinking to myself, why am I questioning why it does certain things in a certain order when I have no idea how this thing is designed to work in the first place? To menu bar, didn't I just? Oh, cool. It's all right. To point to a window. Let's feel good about that. Menu status. What are we looking at there? Menus.win equals window. Which one? So I think that win control there, or that win value there, may not exist in menu. I don't know, because I haven't got the slightest clue what the hell's going on. Just saying. Menu. Yeah, window pointer, so that's what we need there. Window pointer, this is just an integer, so we want to do that against it. Another one, we're comparing it with that, thanks. Window equals int of window. Alright, that's cool. Oh, there's the other function, that's cool. So that's going to be the same here as well. So we'll do the same thing for this. While I look at it, I can see it. This comparison at the bottom here. Integer against window. We're storing that as an integer field and we're comparing it to a pointer type. So it doesn't like to do those things. It'll give you a warning about it. Well, actually, it'll stop. Quick save. Let's go. Shall we do it? Yeah, we'll do it. I could have went through the whole program and done this replacement up front, but I've done that stuff in large code bases before and regretted it. Oh yeah. Because Win is kind of a common 3 letters, and it'll pick those up in subwords. That Windows menu bar, that's definitely wrong there. Right, so Windows menu bar .x. Dimension mbar as mbar type. I don't know what the type name for that was actually called, so I'll go have a look at it. It wasn't called that, that's for damn sure. Mbar, it's a gadget. Is a type gadget. Gadget pointer. So we want to go mbar equals window dot mbar gadget pointer. Now we just go menu bar x y equals this. Height, width. Go box, drawing a box where the menu bar is, getting our mouse position again, doing that same sort of logic. That first bit of code looks like it's pretty safe, it's going to work. This picture here again, this menu list stuff here, we'll just do a replacement of that, and so a replacement of those, which is that weird secondary array that I didn't really get why we had it in the first place. Have we done that already? Seems we might have. Oh, thanks. Only one of them. Open menu. Yeah, I think that's how it must work actually. When you're doing, as you select different panels of a menu, it must open at that section, hold them as a different section. Otherwise I can't think of why it would work that way. Look, it's, you know, making menus with sub-menus support is always awkward, you know. It's a pain in the backside. Cheeky compile, see what syntax errors we get. Menu M, we missed those ones somehow. Cheeky compile. Yeah, okay. So that's another one we can just replace. And feel good about it. Menu backslash, thank you. This one. Dot replace all. Hope it's used a bunch of times. It's not. Draw menu. That function doesn't exist anyway, so we haven't got that far. That's exactly where it stops. Well, thanks for that. Good. Good on you. Good on you. I hope it's to get something that looks like a menu running, even if it doesn't work. Awesome, it's right there in front of us. Let's grab that. And we need open menu too. free menus. I think we've already got, haven't we? Grab that. We'll chuck them all across and we'll just try and throw them together and see what happens. Blitz the bottom. I think we have free menus already. Menu group looks okay. Dot status. Menu type. We'll just do a replacement of all that stuff. Win as window pointer. Get width and height from there. I think most of these should just work from doing a quick replacement. The actual structure it's stored in shouldn't matter. Shouldn't. We'll probably find out it does though. Oh wow, what's this? Item menu? Oh no, it's another thing. Just do a replacement. Great. Excellent. It's used in a lot of different places, so we've won ourselves a bit of time back by just doing a replace. Start to see free menus. Yeah, I've got 2 versions of that, so we don't need that one. Hit save. Running it. Cool. GUI menus list. Menu. What's the last thing there? Menu/Y. Whoa, what is that? Menus this /X/Y window. That's okay. Seems happy with that, so I'm happy with that. Let's move on. MenuBar. We know that's not going to work because MenuBar is a gadget. I'm going to grab up front. Yeah, that needs to be fixed. Let's try to get the syntax errors fixed first though. Menu item status. One of those. OM. Menus OM. What function are we in? Maybe it's looking through 2 things at once or something. Replace all. All, thanks. What's the next one? GUI menu, GUI open menu. Cannot be used when an expression does not return a result. It's handy that, like, people sort of get frustrated with that stuff, but it's handy having that pick that up, because the number of things I've picked up in the past where a function's been exporting a null and I haven't noticed it, only to uncover that that's where the fault's coming from at some later point, is quite painful. So Windows menu bar. We've got this already. We've got menu bars already got a pointer to the gadget, so we don't need to do that. Yeah. I'll comment that out and replicate that next to it. Yeah, if integer menu bar is equal to 0, in other words, if it's null, I do this and do that. Otherwise, comment those out. It's original logic. So menus. If there's no menu bar, what are we doing? Grabbing this, grabbing the font height +4, whatever. For whatever reason, I have no idea. Menu height, menu bar, win menu bar. So we're going M bar height. Sounds good. Feel good about it. Oh, there we go. Another one of those ones. Might dot y im dot h. There's going to be a width one there too. Somewhere. Is there? Nope. Quick save. Run again. New overlapping. What have we got? Is the thing active? Hope so. Menu type. Width. Menu caption. Right, so it must give you like tool tips there as well for what keys you can, or what sort of hotkeys you can use to access to a menu item. I think that's what it does anyway. I don't know. I'm just guessing. If you haven't worked that app by now. Miscellaneous, lots of these ones. Menu group. Status, menu. Oh geez, X plus this thing, whatever miscellaneous is, menu width, I assume that is, dot X, Y, original width, perhaps. Getting closer. I don't mean closer to it working, I mean closer to actually it doing something. Okay. I'll comment that line out. So we know what the original code was doing. Across the implementation over here. Well, status will be set to 0 by default, so why? Don't worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it. Free menus. Function declarations can appear within nest. So there's something else above that. We haven't got a closing statement. The correct closing statements anyway. Do menu bar. Copy this function up here. Max if nest. Got a for next loop there, inside there, it's inside the else. let's just move that function down. Just to oh, hang on. Got an in select there. Seems okay. It's just a quick way of detecting where that missing draw menu. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's there anyway. So dim MBar, sorry, MBar as gadget. Gadget pointer, thank you. So we're going win.mbar gadget pointer to mbar. When that structure was created, that's what we got now. I'll comment that out. Oh no, just put it, just wrap that. MBar, width, font height, font yes, MBar plus Y, MBar height. Oh, we're missing some code there to emboss something. To the original GUI emboss, search fine, in GUI emboss. That's all I should need. Oh, that's good. It's a very small function. Chances of us stuffing it up are minimal. Not zero, but they're minimal. Other drawing functions, where have they gone? GUI box. Compile again. Mouse down. Wow, good. Onto wait. I'm going to wrapper of that. Wait on mouse button. Function. Let's do replace. Wait on mouse button. Number 1. Replace all. So I want to. Okay, so it ran, but we crashed. That's kind of a good thing. It means that syntactically we've got through our program, but our emulation at the moment is not doing what it expects of us. As for which part, I don't know. We might leave it there. I might pick back through it this later on tonight and see how we go. But as you can see, it's pretty involved getting this kind of stuff to at least do something remotely interesting, let alone actually work. But it's far easier than writing it from scratch. So I mean, already we're got what, 2,500 lines or something. Yeah. So we're probably about a third of the way through. I think once we get those kind of core issues solved about how we're storing stuff and how it relates back to each other, get some understanding of that, then we'll be able to solve the rest of the functions pretty easily. Don't know. that's the hope. You know, it might never get to a point where it even works. So don't get too excited. But for today, that'll do us. Thanks for that. I'll see you later.